Hey,
Hello.
hi. How are you doing? How is it?
Very well.
You are on Pacific time, right?
Yeah,
Yep.
I'm out
So,
here in Venice Beach in Los
oh,
Angeles.
nice.
Yeah. So I mean it's still hot, we still get all the heat and stuff, but it's nice to get the little breeze and everything. So it's good. It's
Yeah,
good. How is
yeah.
it?
I'm up in North Shore, right above Boston. So,
Oh, wow, okay.
yeah. So
Yeah.
it's actually I get a little bit of that breeze too, just different ocean.
Yeah, that's kind of not, I don't think I've ever been to Boston or any of that area.
Oh, well,
Yeah,
um, I was gonna ask later about your book tour, and we can still do that. But if you come through on the book tour, let me know.
for sure. No, for sure.
I'd
There's
be
it's been a
happy to
lot
be a
of
tour
chatter.
guide. There is actually some fun little bits of vampire history out here. So
Really? In
yeah, little
Boston?
yeah. Well, in the surrounding towns, every once in a while the locals would get worked up about somebody that didn't stay in their grave, didn't seem to stay in their grave. So
Yeah, you could always stay in your grave.
yeah, or just not let people know that you've come out of the grave.
Or that, yes, exactly.
All right. Well, I think we now have enough people to get things rolling.
Sweet.
So, everyone who is here already, we are taking a bite out of the book Blood Rising by Markus
Ah,
Redmond.
yeah.
There we go. And I am so excited to be talking with you, Marcus.
Thank you,
Um,
Raven.
so, this is the second book in the Blood Saga,
Mhm.
and it is coming out on August 25th, right?
Yes.
How excited are you?
It's wild because, the first one came out just about, when did the first one come out? Like July, the end of July last year. I had never done it before. I didn't really know, what to expect. And now with the second book coming out, so many people enjoyed the first book. So it's a little overwhelming, but I'm very grateful for it. There's a lot of folks that are excited, and there's a lot of things that happen in the book that I hope they stay excited for.
Mhm.
But not everyone's gonna be happy about how things go out.
Oh, well, that's the first thing you learn as an author is you can't make everyone happy. Some people are
No.
going to love what you're doing, and some people are going to give you some really fascinating one-star reviews.
Well, it's interesting for me because, I'm trying to tell a very long story.
Yes.
Um, Kensington gave me a three-book deal,
Mhm.
so we will have a third book in 2027.
Good.
Hopefully, the books will continue to do well, and they'll allow me to continue the story beyond that, because ultimately, I'd like to bring it up in the present day. So we're talking about a
Ooh,
400-year story that I'm trying to tell. So yeah, we'll have some ups and downs as we come through the centuries.
that's exciting news that I did not know. You heard it here first,
Yeah.
people. um,
Yeah.
wow. Oh my God, you just threw me off all my questions. All right. So I was lucky enough to be sent this arc by your publisher, so I got to experience Blood Rising before August 25th. Um, your first book, Blood Slaves, made a huge splash in the dark fantasy genre. And so, no doubt, there was a lot of pressure for that second book. But I could see how much growth you had as a writer, just even book one to book two. Too many authors have choked at that point and had like a disappointing sophomore effort. So, how did you keep that from happening?
Um, I just kept writing.
Mm,
So, uh, Blood Rising was written directly after I wrote Blood Slaves, because I got midway through Blood Slaves and I was like, well, there's still 13 colonies and countless plantations.
Yes.
So this can't be over. So by the time I got done with Blood Slaves, I just started writing Blood Rising. It was actually it's called The New Masters
Uh-huh.
originally. And I it would literally just like end day of Blood Slaves, start day of Blood Rising. So I just kept writing the book. Uh, I don't know. I just it wasn't done in book one,
Right.
and book one and book two to me are kind of like that's part one
Yeah.
of the story, because then we'll venture ahead and now we'll have more history to blow up. But it was just really just kind of sticking with it and knowing where the characters were gonna go. So I don't know how I did it.
Honestly, not overthinking is probably a really good thing for any author.
Yeah,
Like overthinking is probably how we end up with just getting completely like, I don't know what I'm doing. Oh my God. So, you
that
know,
that's how I wrote the first one. I just because I don't like I know they tell you you're supposed to do the thing and make the cards and write out all of the backstory and do all of that stuff. By the time I do all that stuff, I'm so sick of the story, I don't want to write it.
yes,
So for me, it's better to just write the thing. That's what editing's for later.
yep,
But I want to get in there, and I don't want to know what's happening, because for me, if I don't know what's happening and there's a dilemma, then I've got to work my way through that dilemma in real time. And I feel like if I have to do that as the writer, the reader feels the dilemma more, as opposed to I've mapped it all out. It's all set there in my outline. I know how I'm getting out of these situations. And so then you kind of write it that way.
yeah.
And I feel like you lose a little bit of fire. So I like to get in there and get stuck and be like, the hell am I doing now? And then figure it out and then push forward. And then hopefully that kind of keeps, the pacing going.
So basically, we're two pantsers talking to each other right now.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I can't do this. I can't. I know you're supposed to. I know that's the thing. And they write all the books and they tell you to do the thing. I don't I don't do it. I don't do any of
You're part of a proud community of pantsers who just say
it.
no to cue cards and big, outlines and
Yeah.
stuff like that. So
Yeah.
that actually jumps me forward in my questions because we both put a lot of history into our books, which requires a lot of research. So, since based on what you just said, I assume you're just desperately researching as you go along.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, me too.
Yeah. You know what you want to have happen, and then you research the era
Yep,
and the time period and the location and see, okay, how would that have happened?
you're right.
But yeah, I was researching all the way through. And then I had the benefit, a friend of mine actually has a PhD in slavery studies.
Okay.
So I was able to hand the manuscript to her and say, hey, they get this right or not? Like, what do I do? So that was very helpful too. But yeah, even in newer works, you just for me it's like I want the story, I want the thing,
Yeah.
and I get the thing, and I get the time period, I get the era. I'm like, all right, I'm in, we're here we go. And then I just get stuff, I'll say, okay, I'll find out what's going on, have a glass of tea and relax and figure out, and then go back in. But to me it's always and again, it's just about that flow.
Yeah.
I feel like if as an author you're in that flow, the reader stays in that flow,
Yep.
and then you don't have like pacing issues or whatever it is. Just kind of keep everybody invested.
It's so nice talking to someone who's like basically saying the things I could be saying. Like, yes, you're doing it right. um, So, one of the big things that people talked about after Blood Slaves was published was Gertie's personal arc in the story.
Oh,
um,
Gertie.
did that surprise you that people just went crazy for that aspect?
I mean, it did and it didn't. I It was important for me that everything Gertie said was right. Like she's right.
Hmm.
It's not the popular opinion, but she's right. So that was important for me. And I had friends that read it who were very, I hate Gertie, I love Irene. And
Hmm.
that's the hill they would die on. My publisher and my editor loved Gertie.
Hmm.
They were like, she's the moral compass of the book. We love her. Everything's going to be great. So I was kind of prepared for either, for either way for it to go. But yeah, people got very creative about how much they disliked Gertie, and I just, Gertie. Gertie's the she's I mean I agree with my publisher. She is the moral compass. I mean,
Yeah.
she's the one, she's carrying a child.
Hmm.
She doesn't want to get beat again or
Yep.
worse.
Yeah.
She's just trying to survive day to day, and then she gets thrown this curveball of, hey, why don't you die, which will also kill your baby, but then you'll come back and you'll get to be, a monster that feeds on blood for the rest of eternity. And Gertie's like, nah, man, I don't want to do that. And here are all the reasons why it's not so great. And I think when you're dealing with something in that type of situation, you think about it realistically. It's really easy to romanticize vampires,
Oh yeah.
right?
Yeah.
It's very easy to just be like, oh, and we're sweeping, we've got long leather coats, and it's wonderful. But, these folks are new. This is a
Mhm.
brand new thing to them, and they're having to figure out how it's going to work in real time,
Yeah.
what it's going to mean. And it's a leap of faith, and she's not ready to take it.
Someone's got to keep it real, right?
I leave the sweeping romance of vampires to Stephanie Meyer and
No,
others.
no, no, thank
They
you.
can do it. They can do it. No, honestly, listen, I credit Stephanie Meyer because
Hmm.
in a way, I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for her because Twilight shifted vampires. Vampires were, oh, that's the Halloween thing. We don't really take it that seriously. And Twilight thrust vampires forward, and it didn't need to be Halloween anymore. It was a real thing. It's vampire literature now. And I think she had a big part of doing that. Obviously, you have Anne Rice and then, Bram Stoker and all that. But in modern time, I think she did a lot for vampires and the popularity of writing them. So I tip my hat to Stephanie Myers, but I will leave her to do the shiny, sparkling
Sparkly.
ones. Yeah. Yeah. She can do those. I'll do the other ones.
Well, going back to Gertie, it was really wonderful to open up Blood Rising and find Gertie or Naima. Is that the pronunciation? I
Say again?
didn't. Naima, is that her real name?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I had last
Yeah.
time I listened to the audiobook and I didn't have that this time, so I'm like going out the branch here. Um, but I thought that hearing her voice from the start was perfect.
Yeah.
Considering how important she had been in the previous book. Um,
Hmm.
did you start with her voice because of of the reaction to her in Blood Slaves?
No. So there are three women uh, that deserve the credit for that opening. One is my wife, Isis. The other is my agent, and the third is my publisher, Jackie. Uh, she thought that Blood Rising took the story to such a different level
Hmm.
that she thought, it might be easier for people to come in through Blood Rising because Blood Slaves is so brutal.
Hmm.
And she thought, what if we could introduce blood slaves? Kind of like when you're watching a television show and they say previously on the show, like, can we do something like that so that people don't necessarily have to go through the trauma of blood slaves if they want to get into Blood Rising? And I was like, this is a really cool idea. And she said, well, maybe it could come from a character. And I originally was thinking Rafazi. And my wife and my agent, they were like, what if it's Gertie? Because she's kind of the queen of the castle right now. Like in Victory, she's kind of the queen of the castle. She's gone through this huge arc, and now
Hmm.
she's behind the thing that she was fighting. And I thought it was a wonderful idea, and so I told the publisher, and she thought it was great, and then we wrote it up. We made a few adjustments here and there, and Come Sit a Spell became the beginning of the book, way after it had been written.
Well, it was genius for so thank the three women in your life for that.
Yes, I got smart women. I got smart women in my corner, so I'm very grateful for
That's all
them.
you need, man. um, I know that you started Blood Slaves because of many frustrations with the state of the world. But how did the story that you ended up writing end up involving vampires of all the monsters out there to deal with?
Mhm.
Why them?
Because I was writing a completely different vampire book prior to.
Oh.
Uh, so yeah, so 2020, nobody knew what was going on. The film industry was shut down.
Yep.
Nobody understood anything, and I turned to my wife and I said, "You know what? I'm just going to write a book. I don't know anything else anyway, except for tell stories. And a book is just a script with more adjectives. It's fine. It's be fine." And I literally, that's how I went into it. Uh, and then I started writing this book. That's why, if you look at the dedication in
Mhm.
Blood Rising to Michael Lord, who died so that Kwazo Okuru could live, Michael Lord was the vampire in that original book. And my
Um,
wife loved that book and she loved
oh,
Michael Lord. She's
oh,
very sad to see him have to go by the wayside for Quazo. But so that's like a sort of hidden dedication to her in that book. But that was a book I was trying to figure out. And then I saw the footage of George Floyd being murdered, and
mhm.
I got very angry and very upset. And my
Yeah.
wife said, it's too bad your vampires can't go back in time and fix everything from the start. And the
You
next
really do have
day,
smart women around you.
I really do. I really do. Yeah, I really do. My entire career is a testament to smart women. But yeah, that's how that. So that's why it was vampires. Um, and I love the creature. I love vampires and I love dragons. And that's why what
Choices,
happens to
solid
Quadzo
choices.
happens in the end. Yeah,
Well, maybe
yeah.
maybe after you get done with this, maybe you can go back and resurrect Michael Lord since he's a vampire. I mean, how hard is it, right?
Well, the problem is my plan. Remember, I'm trying to do a whole thing here.
Right.
So
Oh, you're locked in for a while, yeah.
I want to give the story I was doing with Michael Lord. I actually want to give it to Quadzo
Oh,
down the road,
okay.
because it would be a very interesting predicament for him to be in, along with the empire that he's created. And so I can't. But as a tribute to Michael Lord, there's a character named Michael Lyon
Hmm.
in Blood Rising, who you may remember, who is terribly in love with Antoinette.
Hmm.
So Antoinette was a character in Michael Lord, and Michael Lyon and Antoinette have the same relationship in Blood Rising as they did in Michael Lord. So, he's still in there. He's still
This is
mixing around.
this is fascinating, and now I'm like I was already in for the whole rest of the series, but now I'm even more in because I
There's
just
a
want to
lot
see
of
all this
lore.
play out.
There's a lot of lore. Yeah.
Good. That's what makes good books is all that lore.
Yeah, I think
Um,
so.
So there's a line in the story. Quadvo thinks, if it took dying to feel this alive, then so be it. I love that line. Um, and but I partially love it because in my own vampire series, my main character has basically the same thought.
Hmm.
And I love that despite the differences in our stories, we share that commonality.
Yeah.
And I think it shows where the vampire story is in our culture right now. Vampires have grown and evolved as we talk and we write about them. And we're finding very different things in the undead than we did back when Dracula was written.
Right.
Um, so another line I love, we are the new law, Mr. Callowhill, the law of now. And I feel like that's true both back in the early 1700s in your book, but also for the moment right now.
Hmm.
Why do you think that this is such a perfect moment for the vampire myth to rise from the grave
I think
again?
when you get, I feel like when your world events are so bleak,
Mm,
I think that the idea of burning everything down and then rising from it becomes a very topical, relatable, and exciting prospect. And so, obviously, in fiction, we get to do that with the vampire.
yes.
And, you're talking about, I mean, Quadzo was a slave longer than he was a free kid. He was a
Yeah.
kid when they found him. And so his entire adult existence has been, nothing. It's been horrible. It's just been torture and servitude. So, yeah, he dies and then awakens with all this power, the power to do whatever he wants to do.
Mhm.
And of course that's freeing because he's been under the thumb of this horrendous slave owner, overseer, this terrible system, you know, for 18 years of his life. And to be able to get up, snap his fingers, and say, all of these people that were oppressing me are now my food. Like, I get to eat these people. Like, it's an immense amount of power to rise up from. And so, yeah, of course, that would make you feel more alive, because it's something that you could never even think of beforehand, you know?
That is a beautiful answer. I love it. Um, so my vampires are called the Ammer. Your
Mm.
vampires are the Ramanga. Um, both my Ammer and your Ramangans get quite offended when they're called vampires. Uh, why is this distinction so important for your characters?
For the Romungans, it's because, and there's a, I think that I still name that chapter. Yeah, I think there's a chapter in Blood Rising that sort of shows the progression of the name vampire in this
Yes,
universe.
yes.
Um, I basically made all of that. I just made it up, but it spoke to the denigration of what the Ramunga truly were. And
Hmm.
so it was a name that they didn't use. They are Ramungans. That's
Yep.
who they are. That's how they identify. This was this weird foreign word, which is why Quadzo had never heard it.
Yes.
So he's like, "What? These white people are calling me this? What? I don't know what that is." You know
Mhm.
what I mean? So it's derogatory because in their head it was created to, you know, to be derogatory. It was to put them down. It was to make them less than. And that's why
Yeah,
they don't do it.
yeah. I could see them actually being like, "Oh, now you've found another N word. Great."
Basically, yeah. And that's why it was weird because it took me a while to sort of like get on board with the whole marketing thing of
Mhm.
coming out and saying vampire, which I get now. But yeah, I
Yeah,
was a little like, well, they're not, they're Romungans. They're like,
there.
nobody knows what that is.
Yeah,
It's just tell them what it is so that they'll buy the book. And I'm like, all right, whatever. It worked out pretty well. But yeah, I remember being a little hesitant at that point. But
Well,
you know,
your marketing people are lucky that the Romangans aren't in this universe because, you know, obviously they would have taken offense to that. But yeah, I
yeah,
understand. You're like, no, 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 this would piss off my characters. And, you know, and then, you know, it's like, well, but yes, but nobody knows, you know, this term. Yeah,
yeah,
so we have to call
exactly.
them with the words that people know.
Right. Yeah. Like, it'll be fine. It'll be fine. Go take a powder. You'll be fine. But yeah, that's interesting though. What you said though, you know the another N word that really sums it up. Why don't your characters like to be called vampire?
They feel that they are different than all the myths that like
Mm,
so they're the Ammer and us living humans are the key. And so the key have all these nonsense myths that they've made up about,
mm,
you know, vampires through all this time. And the
right,
Ammer are just like, well, that's not us. Okay. Like,
right.
you know, we can look in mirrors, we can cross running water, you know, like, you know, I don't know
Right,
what this key BS is, but you know, it's nothing to do with us.
right.
And
Yeah,
then, you know, also because they're living under society in their own, you know, separate society, and trying not to have the key know that they exist.
right,
You know, they want to stay away from the fictional vampires and that all of that as much as possible. Um,
right.
in my books, they're actually Dracula is there and he gets a lot of shit. Uh,
I love that. That's good. That's really great.
They're like, oh, come on, we're doing fine. And then what's this now? You know, so
Right. Yeah. Well, let's see, because it goes back to identity,
yeah,
right? It's like, here's this, entity that's different and you
yep,
don't like it, so you've got to make stuff up about
yep,
it. And
yep,
I think there's a lot of different peoples that have lived through history up
mhm,
until now that have dealt with the same thing.
yeah,
So, yeah.
yeah, yeah. But anyway, just don't use the V word. Everything's fine. So, Rafazi. Uh, he has
He's
turned
the
out
new
to be
Gertie.
the new Gertie. Yes. Oh my God, he's going to be the new Gertie. You just
He's
called
gonna
that.
be the new Gertie. Yeah. Yeah.
he he has turned out to be the most complex, complicated shades of gray character. Um, and without him, there would have been no better situation for Quadzo and everyone.
Right.
But and none of what happened could have taken place without him. But without any spoilers, he becomes a real foil for Quadzo.
Yeah.
Was that something that you had always intended, or did that evolve as you were going
Mhm.
along?
I always knew.
Uh,
I always knew. And the thing is, and I tell people this very often, if you are going into Blood Rising with a reread of Blood Slaves, pay attention to everything he says
yes.
because he kind of told you this was going to happen. Like he told you exactly who he is, exactly what he's about. He did what he did so that he could get back to who he is.
Right.
So it's 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 shocking, yes, but it shouldn't be a surprise because this was kind of always the goal for Rafasi.
When people tell you who they are, believe them, especially Rafazi.
Especially Rafasi, yeah.
So you've nudged in this direction already. The violence in this book is somewhat different than the violence in Blood Slaves. Uh, in the first book, you were dealing with the horrors of what an enslaved person's life was like in the South in the 1700s. In this book, the violence is more about fighting to keep the hard-earned freedom. But that means that instead of a hot box, which we're all never going to recover from, um, there is room for microaggressions, like a
Yeah.
white woman trying to touch Gertie Naima's hair. Um, did you write those things in for your Black readers so they could experience the story resonating for them, or for your white readers to help us take useful lessons from the story, or for both?
Mm, neither.
Neither. Okay.
It was just part of the story. It was
Mhm.
just what was going to happen. I mean, there's a fairly small mirror in these books to modern day. There are
Mhm.
parallels that can be driven. So, while I'm putting these stories together, I'm not thinking of like, okay, well, this group of people needs to learn this and this group of people needs to. I'm just trying to write a story straight away that people can read and take from them whatever it is they want to take from it. My goal is to just be as authentic as I can to the story and the themes and the characters. But I'm not doing anything specific toward one group or another group or anything like that. And as the series progresses, there's less of that because we get to, you're rewriting history. As we continue to go forward, I'll get to start creating history. So all of a sudden, there'll be like these things that we know about history just don't happen. So if those things don't happen, what happens instead? So now I'm just writing this stuff. And obviously, the template for everything is the world that we live in.
Right.
And we got all kinds of stuff going on, and there's all kinds of material that I can use. But yeah, I'm not trying to single out any one race. I want everybody to be able to read it and take from it what they take from it.
All right. Another favorite line.
Mm.
This will be the last, but God, you had some great lines in this book. Um, the blood running through you goes beyond skin. This world separates us by skin, claiming good and superior for later and calling it white, while claiming evil and inferior for the darker and calling it black. But what does skin matter between us when our blood, the true source of eternal power, is the same? Understanding that is the path to true freedom for all. Ah, shivers. Um, so in my books, the Amarer society that has moved past racism and misogyny and all the stuff that holds us as humans back.
Mhm.
And so now I'm going to ask a question. I have no good answer for it yet, but we can just workshop it a little. Um, why, why did we both see what would normally be seen as becoming a monster as a way of freeing humans from those ugly beliefs and systems?
Huh. Yeah. Why did we do that?
Why did we do that? We don't have to answer that question now, but we both did that.
Well, so here's the thing. In terms of vampires specifically, I've loved vampires since The Lost Boys. It's the greatest film that's ever been made. Nobody's ever going to tell me different. Um,
Especially that saxophone.
I, I can't, I watch that movie at least twice a year
Oh,
because plus you get to go back to night,
yep.
anyway. Uh, I've always loved vampires, but I've always had notes.
Yep. Yep.
Like, this stuff. Just like, well, this whole thing about you gotta ask to enter the house,
Hmm.
right? I'm like, well,
Hmm.
what if someone's renting?
Yeah.
Do they have to call the owner? Like what are we doing? There's like all this stuff that you gotta do. And the whole hiding from humans in the
Hmm.
shadows
Hmm.
when you eat them. If I go to a barbecue, I don't hide from the grill. Like I'm going to eat the food on the grill, and like, oh, we have to stay hidden and everything has to happen at night in secret. Like, no, they're food. We have billions and billions of food. Like you get together with your vampire buddies and you say, hey, let's take over and just make everything happen at night so we can do it. What are they going to do? Stop us? We're immortal. So there was a lot of that stuff.
Hmm.
And also, there's a lot of vampire stories that just sort of revel in I'm immortal and I'm rich and I'm bored and I don't know what. Oh, look, there's a 19-year-old girl. This is
Yeah.
my entire life now.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you have all of this power.
Yeah.
Couldn't it be used for something? Like
Instead of going back
you
to
could
high school.
yeah, you could change things with this kind of power. So when my wife said what she said, it just clicked. It made a lot of sense. Yes, of course, if you have this power, you can change history in a way that seems to be very difficult for us humans to do,
Yes,
just as
unfortunately.
humans.
Yeah.
So that's where it came from. It was like, well, let's put this power to good use. We've got all of the speed and strength and feeding on blood and elevated mentality and intelligence and we're just gonna sit around in trench coats and drink out of goblets and like let's do something, you know? So that's kind of it's kind of where it came from for me.
That's a fantastic answer. Yay, Ramongan. All right, to end on a lighter and nerdier note, your Ramongans can't handle the touch of silver. Uh, Normally, that's werewolves, and the only other universe I know of where vampires are sensitive to silver is the Blade comics and films,
Right.
which I love. Um, did you include the silver thing as like a little quiet shout out to Blade, or was it another way of setting Romongans apart from vampires?
It was just setting him apart. It was just something to do to sort of give, I didn't want to create this Ramungan that
Hmm.
was so different from a vampire that, executives and people would be like, oh, I don't understand the monster. It doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah.
So I wanted it to be as close to what we all know as a vampire so you can kind of understand what's happening. But I wanted to give them their own little differences here and there, with little subtleties and stuff. So, silver, emotions in the blood having
Mm.
an impact, these special powers triggered by, intense emotions that the Ramungan carries, just little things to sort of switch it up. And then as we progress, you meet Jean Yu in Blood Rising and you get more of the lore, you get more understanding about all those things.
All right. We still have actually lots of viewers. Does anyone have any questions to drop in the comments before I let things move on? Let you get back to your evening in progress.
By afternoon.
Oh yeah, right. Math. Yeah, I just had a friend teasing me because they're one of the myths is about vampires is that if you spill rice in front of them, they have to stop and count every grain. And
Oh, yeah, I've heard that.
yeah, yeah. And I was,
I've
they're just like, oh, I want to see Sandu, one of the characters in my book, like have to stop and do that. And I was like, yeah, I knew about that one, and I deliberately did not do that because can you imagine how the plot would drag?
it is. It's a weird myth, isn't it?
Oh well,
It's a strange.
if you go into the really early vampire myths from Europe, there's some weird shit in there. Like
Yeah,
they're very limited monsters.
yeah.
And they might be they're more about the fear of death than they are about that monster being particularly scary. They're just
Hmm.
saying like we as a people are terrified of dying and we're terrified, of the dead. Probably because if you didn't people figured out if you didn't bury the dead properly, then disease came.
Right.
So the dead were just scary and made a great monster. But then to make things, I think, like, well, we can defeat this monster X, Y, and Z ways, and we limit this monster so we have some control over it. So yeah, they just came up with the craziest
Yeah,
things.
just weird stuff.
It weird stuff.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff, and it's like, really? But what I tried to do was I tried to take some of those things and then just twist them a little bit, you know. So you can there's still we still have, stakes, wooden stakes, but
Yep.
it's a specific wood.
Yes, that I
You
love
can't just
that.
do anything. So just to make it, because I mean you're talking about really powerful creatures.
Hmm.
You don't want to come off at the knees and make them do dumb stuff. You know what I mean? You want to, let them be powerful. And then that's too like the challenge in the writing, because if the creature is powerful,
Hmm.
um, you got to come up with some way to, throw them off.
Yep.
And that becomes a bigger part of the challenge. It's like, nobody wants to see a thing where the creature is just super powerful. There's nothing that can be done. I mean,
Yep.
it's a 15
Yeah.
page book.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah. There's no story there. Yeah. No,
yeah.
I
So
invented a poison called Modoc that works. They could have any other poison in the world, not even notice, you know.
right,
But if they get hit with the Modoc, then it's very bad news. So yeah, you have to find something that takes the superpowers away for plot purposes.
right, right. Or he screws them. Like if a Ramungan feeds on a Ramungan, and then what happens to them?
I did not see that coming in this book, and I was just like, "Whoa, cool!" Like I was nerding out as I was reading that stuff, just like, "Oh, cool!" Like I really love
Yeah,
what you did with that.
that was a fun thing. That was actually, without going into any actual detail,
Uh-huh.
that actually came because there was someone who I did not like who gave me a note. And it wasn't even a note, it was like a suggestion. It was like,
Uh-huh.
well, maybe one day Quazo's child, Quazo's child's blood can save him. Maybe
Uh,
one day.
uh,
Like the taking of the blood. And
yeah.
because I was so disenamored with this person,
Yeah.
I created the rule that it's the exact opposite.
Yeah,
A little petty
don't
on
piss
my
off
part.
writers, really. We'll get you into the story one way or another.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. People, Ammer that get killed because my Ammer are always fighting each other. There's something they never learn over centuries and millennia is like how not to kill each other. And um, so whenever I know, like whenever I have an Ammer, like that I'm building up, to be killed within the story, qualities of X's do tend to make their way into that
Mhm.
character. It's not a name, it's not anything you can point to, but it is
Right.
quite satisfying in that regard. Yeah.
Yeah. It's a little bit like, no, that won't work, but this will work. Yeah, I get
Yeah.
that. I totally
Yeah.
get that. That's
Yeah.
fun. That's fun.
Oh yeah. I think and now having even like I got the sense from reading your books and now talking to you that yeah, you're having fun writing. Like I mean this came out
Oh
of
my
a
God.
place of not fun, but you're
Yes.
having fun being a writer. And
You nailed it. You nailed it. Screenwriting, it's because no one cares. Nobody cares about screenwriters. Like you ask someone, what's your favorite movie? And they'll tell you yes. And then you ask them who directed it, and they'll tell you exactly who directed it. And you ask them who wrote it, and they have no idea. And, screenplays are not written to be read,
right,
right? They're basically just blueprints for, what's hopefully going to become a movie or a TV show 6, 7, 8, 9 years later. But
right,
books are books. The end game of a book is a book. And you're in there with your editor, and that's it. It's you and your. It's not the producer and the producer's girlfriend, the producer's girlfriend's brother, the producer's girlfriend's brother's cousin, all throwing their things in there. Well, you should put that in. Like people who actually know what they're talking about. The biggest thing I had that really showed me it was different is the very first conversation I had with my agent, and she was talking to me about the book. And I realized halfway through the conversation, I was like, oh my God, she read the whole thing. She literally read the book. because they don't read screenplays. They don't. You sit with executives and they'll tell you stuff, and you be like, "Oh, you skip. You like read 2 pages and you skip 10, and then you read and then you skip." They don't actually read. So when you're
Right.
dealing with people who are reading the material because the audience reads the material, it's so much better. It's so much more fulfilling. I love writing books. It's a fantastic. I love it. So yes, you hit it. You hit it right on the head. I'm coming from unfun into fun for sure.
Well, I mean, if that isn't the marketing for your books right there, read these books because he is having so much fun writing them. And I've always felt like, to with films, you can tell when the actors are having a great time, like
Yeah.
being on the set and doing the work, like, like there's just a quality to it where it's just like, oh my God, they're having too much fun right there, like,
Yeah.
and
Totally.
now I realize that's what I was enjoying in your book was just watching you have way too much fun.
Yeah. I'm having a blast. I'm having a, wait till you get to book 3. I'm
Oh,
having a
I
ball.
know. I can't wait. I'm going to be bothering you for that arc like 6 months from now.
Yeah, I can give you this tiny little tidbit,
Okay. Okay.
and I actually got to have a little bit of a conversation with my publisher a couple of months back, and she's been working on the edits and everything. And she told me that of all the 3 books, the third one is her favorite.
Ooh. Perfect teaser. Perfect teaser.
So, we'll see.
Right?
Hopefully, we get
Okay.
to book 4.
Yeah. Yes. Yes. Um, so there's nothing actually I can say to get people, to say why people should read the books that's any better than, oh, you know, you're having a blast writing them and just wait for the third book. It's the best of all. Um, you are going on book tour. What cities are on the list so far?
Yes. So far we are we're in Medina. We kick off in Medina, Ohio for
Uh-huh.
the launch at Black Cat Books and Oddities, best bookstore in the world.
I saw what you
And
wrote
then we
about
go,
them.
oh, okay, it's the best. So we go from there to Cleveland. We go from Cleveland to Tiffin, Ohio. Um, and right, we're still waiting to confirm a few other places in the Midwest. But Chicago has been confirmed. And that'll be like the sort of eastern wing, and then we'll have a western leg that'll be in the Bay Area. I think we're starting in San Francisco, and we're going to Oakland, and we're going to Sacramento, and then we might be Santa Monica at a certain point. So we'll see. We'll see how it all shakes out, but we're starting to get the confirmations in now.
Great. Great. Well, as soon as you get that Boston stop in, let me know.
Yeah. I'll have to let them know. I'll have to let them know. There's talk of more stops in the fall
Okay.
on the East Coast. So we'll see what shakes out.
Well, if you want the ultimate crazy experience, get here in for Salem in October, because
Oh yeah,
it's not like it's actually crazier than Mardi Gras. It is less sane
really,
than Mardi Gras. Yeah, I've talked to other people who have been to
really.
both, and everyone is in agreement with me. I'm not making this up. Like it is unhinged. Uh, and
Sounds like a
as a
good place to get in
vampire
trouble.
author, I've never had book sales like like I was a vampire ball I did last year where it's like a ball upstairs and then vending on the floor underneath, and
Yeah.
people were just I didn't sit down for like 6 hours. People were just give me the book, give me the book, give me the book.
Wow.
It was I've never seen it. Like, I ran
That's
out of books.
fantastic. That's fantastic.
Yeah, yeah. Well,
Oh,
no, now I just bring too
okay.
many books with me everywhere. But it was an incredible day, and people were just like get that good vampire shit in my vein. Like it was
Right.
wow, and they're all
What's it
wearing
called
witches hats.
again?
Salem, Massachusetts. The Vampire
Oh,
Ball, sadly,
oh, there we
yeah,
go.
just Salem, Massachusetts. They have a lot of incredible bookstores there, so I'm sure your
Wow,
publisher.
Salem.
Yeah,
Gosh, Salem. Yeah, there's a
yeah,
lot of
yeah,
stories
yeah. I know.
there.
Yes, yes. That
Salem.
might you might need to like go a little sideways and set a short story there with the
Yeah,
Remungans,
right.
just
It's possible.
rewriting history there
There is
because it
some
needs
stuff
it.
that I would like to do.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah.
Yeah, I like to. I have time jumps in my head. And I think it'd be kind of cool to do side stories that aren't part of the series and kind of go into these different pockets of time that the main series skips and see like what people are doing in between. So that could be fun.
Oh,
That
I
could be a
can't
lot of
recommend that
fun.
highly enough as an author. That's like my series is gonna be 9 books, 9 novels, and
Nice.
yeah, yes, yep. I'm 3 in and working on the fourth now. And but what slowed me down on the fourth was just I started doing side quests.
Ah,
Right, but not bad slowdown. It was basically my publisher was like, we need some shorter work to use for different,
mhm.
stuff. And I love writing novels, so at first I was all grumpy. Like, I don't want to write shorter things. I love writing novels. Uh, and, and actually, it's turned out that I really love the challenge of trying to force myself into a shorter space, and
Okay.
tell the story well, with word limit.
Right.
If it's 100,000 words, I don't feel too limited, you know. But put me in a novella or a short story, and I'm sitting there typing. Just I can feel the word count over my shoulder. Um,
Yeah. Yeah.
um, but I have had so much fun. I've gone all around the world. I've gone all through time, and then also there's once you start with a perspective, a point of view, you're either first person or third person, and for the whole rest of the series, you're stuck there. But with
Yeah.
the short stories, like, if the books are first person, I can do third person. Yeah.
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
and I know
Moving
that
around.
that's a nerdy pleasure, but man, it makes me happy.
Yeah.
And I'm
Yeah.
able to do things like one short story is in the form of diary entries, and just being able to really sort of play around as a writer. So yeah,
Yeah.
I highly recommend the side quest as a way of just not just keeping things fresh for the readers, but for yourself as a writer.
I did a short story. I don't think it was a novella. It was a short story. Um, it was set in the universe
Hmm.
of the Blood Saga, but it was present day. So it's kind of like I don't even remember why I did it. I think someone asked for something for some purpose.
Hmm.
But it was fun. It was a short thing. It was like 4 chapters. It's a short little story about what the world looked like now because of everything Quasar had done in 1710. And none of the characters from the Blood Saga were in it.
Hmm.
It was all just new folks, contemporary stuff, but within the rules of. So maybe that'll see the light of day or something.
Oh, I hope so. Well, I mean, it'll definitely inform everything else as you work towards it through history. So,
Yeah,
okay.
but yeah,
Well,
it's fun. It's a lot of fun.
yeah. Actually, the second half where there was no official questions has been the best part. Like, next time, let's just get some drinks and sit around and just talk.
I like drinks. I do like drinks.
All right. Well, that ends my question. We ended my questions a minute ago. Uh, but thank you for the extra hanging out and chatting.
Sure.
And
Thank you for having me.
good luck with the launch on the 25th.
Thank
Oh,
you.
and because it's the 25th and this is only the 13th, that means that you who are watching now have plenty of time to pre-order this book. And while you're at it, if you haven't read Blood Slaves, then, buy that one too, or get it from your library. The audiobook
Yeah.
is amazing. I recommend that
Mm,
actually. That was how I
yeah.
got the first time, just immersion through the audiobook, and you have such
Yes.
a great narrator. So
Amatoso.
I
He
cannot
is
but
brilliant.
is he going to do number
He
two?
brilliantly did it. He is going to be doing number two. Yes.
Yes. All right. Well, I'm buying
Yeah.
that then. Um,
Yeah. And
um,
there's also the paper. It's now available,
yep.
and the paperback has the benefit of two deleted scenes from the original
Oh, oh, oh.
and a prequel scene where we find out some of the beginnings of Rafazi.
Oh, well, that's important to know.
So you might want to get to the paperback before you get to Blood Rising. Get a little extra insight on what's going on.
Yes. Yes, absolutely. Okay. Well, that is exciting news. All right. So, yeah, it is the 13th. Y'all have until the 25th to get on top of this.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
Thank you, Marcus. And thank you for these stories, and keep having fun with it, please.
Thank you so much, Raven. I really appreciate you and the support that you give in the book. I really do appreciate it. So thank you for having me. It's been
Oh,
fun.
let's just, every time you get a book out, let's hang out and chat.
Deal. That
All right,
works.
cool. All right.